At Knoxville Insurance Group, they understand the challenges many consumers face when searching for insurance coverage. That's why whether it's for you, your family, or your business, they create a coverage plan specifically for your unique needs. Knoxville Insurance Group is an independent firm, which means they aren't beholden to just one insurance company. They search multiple companies, acting as your negotiator to find you the best possible policy and price. Start a quote in minutes at KnoxvilleInsuranceGroup.com or call them today at 865-694-9788.
Fall fans, reimagine your home at Broadway Carpets and Flooring for any remodeling or building needs. With a variety of carpets, rugs, hardwood, vinyl, and stone, Broadway has all the flooring and installation options you're looking for, including pet-resistant products like Pet Perfect Carpet from Shaw Floors. Visit their showroom in downtown Knoxville or the location in West Knoxville located on Kingston Pike near Pellissippi Parkway today.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio. Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio.
So the Nate Ament thing as we welcome you in, and it is an incredibly great Tuesday to you and yours. We got a busy day out in front of us. We've got tonight some Garza Law Tennessee basketball overtime. We've got a show to do today. We've got the great John Adams and the mix and in the hunt. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty good stuff. Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch with the move, with the funky break. You know, it's good stuff. John Adams, presented by Jennifer Morris, Next Move, SmokyMountains.com. Que pasa, amigo?
Hey, how are you, Tony?
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. You're looking sharp today.
I said it's great. Ha ha to be hee hee. What do you think of this thing I'm trying to grow? You know, I got that alopecia on my face, on my thing, so it's really hurt my chin. You know, my ability to harvest whiskers. I've kind of let it go for like a week or so. Thoughts on it?
Josh Heupel, it's really not a good look for you, Tony. But you seem to be captivated by it. Either that or you just want some attention.
Hey, Matt, do you think I'm an attention seeker? Do I strike you as that? Now, I want you to be honest, Matt. I said
I mean, not
really?
Usually, no.
No, I don't like go on social media and do the, hey, this is what I'm having for lunch. Do you like those people, John? They take up and then they want to show you where they're going and, you know, my life is so great.
Take a photo of what they're having for lunch.
And dinner. Yeah.
Like anybody cares. What is wrong with them?
I mean, all you'd have to do is just retweet from the day before, though, Tone. It'd be pretty easy for you.
Because I ate those pizzas there. I'm like Nick Saban. I eat the same thing every day.
I can already see his meal for today that he'll eat in front of me, and I don't think he's ever offered me food.
So Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch coming up. We have a lot to talk about that basketball team. So the inside on the deal is that they're not going to rush Nate Ament. And why would they? And they kind of feel like they can beat the next two opponents without him. Do you, Matt? Do you think they can beat the next two opponents without him?
I think they can beat South Carolina without him, yes. Vanderbilt, you know, not sure. I mean, we've just not seen this team play without Ament. And he's just such a key. And, again, you rely so much on him scoring that I think you should be able to beat South Carolina without him. Vanderbilt, I'd have to kind of wait and see.
Buddy of mine went over to VIP play and grabbed South Carolina today with 8.5, And his rationale was that though South Carolina is kind of a woeful team, he thinks they're going to beat up on Gillespie tonight a little bit, kind of push him around and make other people do things. He thinks we'll win the game. He thinks that we won't manufacture enough points to beat them by 8.5. We don't have enough scorers on the floor. It's kind of an interesting thought.
Well, somebody else has to step up.
Yeah.
And I could see Tennessee beating Vanderbilt without Amit. Amit didn't have a big game against Vanderbilt in terms of points. He didn't go off for 28 or 29 points. However, where you miss him in a game against Vanderbilt is if it's played the same way as the first game in Nashville or down the stretch. He made that acrobatic, closely guarded shot that would prove pivotal in the game, and he's got the ability to do that. I think that's where Tennessee will miss him in these close games down the stretch. Now, I don't know where their scoring will come from. I agree with that. Gillespie probably needs to score in the high 20s.
Yeah, I get the sense that tonight's game is going to be weird. Weird without him. We play weird games anyway. It's been a weird basketball team. It's been a weird season. But the truth is somebody here in this little stretch has to emerge, because I wrote today in the blog, and I'm pretty serious about this. This team's going to be a 5 seed. They're locked into the 5 line. It is what it is. Or maybe even a 6. At that point, look, I'm not worried about a top 4 seed in the league. I'm not. I'm not worried about a double bye in a tournament that doesn't matter. At this point, I want to get him healthy for when this thing matters, and we're getting really close to the finish line for when it matters. So why not get him off his feet for a couple of weeks, be honest about it, and let's just focus on Brian Hartman. Am I right or wrong? Just sit him down. I know people don't want to hear that. I know we all want to be entertained. And look, the guy's extremely tough. The guy was beat up going into the last Vanderbilt game with his ankle. And then his ginger ankle, he went to Missouri and rolled that same ankle. It's the same thing that's been bothering him since December. He got over it in early January and started to really play like he can and started to feel like himself. And then he rolled his ankle again. He was obviously hurt in the Vanderbilt game. You could see it. He wasn't able to get off the floor like he was. He hurts himself against Mizzou, and then he comes back and they get the Malachi crunch against Alabama. What's he have to prove to anybody? He have to prove anything to me. Well, you make a $4 million. Hey, you know when it matters when you make a $4 million is when the NCAA tournament comes around. Sit him down.
Is it possible that Nate Amin has played his last game for Tennessee?
I don't know. Look, he was off to the side shooting yesterday at the gym, so he was on his feet yesterday. He was shooting in practice with him. So from that perspective, at least according to somebody, one of my people in the program said that he's been shooting, but he's nowhere near ready to walk out there and play. Brian, do you agree? What would you do, Brian, if it was your dime and your dance floor with this guy?
You shut him down for tonight, and you see how he responds over the next 2 or 3 days, and make a determination maybe Friday if he can play against Vanderbilt, and you just kind of take it day to day. But my guess is that he'll be probably at least shut down through this week and maybe into the SEC tournament.
The SEC tournament is just so irrelevant.
It means nothing.
I mean, it
Brian
loves
it. Brian loves that top 4 seed.
Well, I mean, it could help some teams, but
it ain't going to help them.
If you're in the tournament, we know from experience that matchups really matter more than seeding in the tournament.
Yeah.
So, I just wonder with Nate Amin if this Tennessee is kind of fragile when you think about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about a Nate Amin, but J.P. Estrella with those ongoing issues with his foot.
And this team's so fragile anyway because they go in and out and in and out, and they got their own squeeze box. Roger Daltrey. Old Who tune. Great
Who?
jam. Great jam. So, John Adams presented by Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. Fired up, focused, prepared. I love her. She served us all these years at Revert Keller Williams. She's incredible. Jennifer, I love you. We appreciate you so much. Laura loves you. We love you. You are, in my world, you are what we call famiglia. Okay? Famiglia. Now, we've got that to talk about. We've got the fact that Josh Heupel's come out on the record and wants a 2014 playoff in college football, and I agree with him. If you give me a choice between what we currently have, playing these stupid, whatever we're doing in December, and waiting 2 weeks to start the playoff, or pushing the season back a week, which is what the Big Ten wants to do, starting the whole season on week 0, and then playing the season through, and as soon as the season ends, we play the playoffs the next week. Let's go! As rapper Andy once said. No more championship games. No more. Nada, niet, ni.
Has rapper Andy had any new recordings?
No, but he reaches out to me every once in a while.
Good.
Over on the fake book. He's the only fake book guy. He's the only fake book guy that I,
No, I don't know.
will interact with. You interact with people on the fake book?
No.
You own fake book?
Yes, but I don't ever look at it.
Yes. Same
Got
kind
a lot
thing
of
here.
followers.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got a lot to say.
Probably some terrorists in there. But I befriended them.
Matt, are you fired up, focused, and prepared today for ETSU in 70-degree weather? Because it is absolutely beautiful this week here. I mean, I just want to celebrate another day of living and another day of life when it's like this in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Great weather and always a fun game when ETSU comes to Knoxville. They go all out. You can tell it matters to them. They beat Tennessee last year, largely off of Brady Frederick, who was really, really good and kind of shut down Tennessee's offense for a couple of innings.
Yep.
I'm excited. It should be a fun day. If you can get out and go, I would, because it should be a fun game, a really competitive and entertaining game.
Who starts the next couple of games for the Vols, Matt?
Well, Blaine Brown will start today, which he's been the Tuesday starter and only pitched one inning in every game. And then it'll be interesting. They've used Appenzeller kind of after him. I assume they'll probably do that again. And then it's the weird week because they play a Wednesday game as well. I think it's the only time all year they play 2 midweek games. They play a really bad Oakland team. I think they're like 1-10. So, but I'll be curious to see how they do that. If maybe they give Appenzeller a start tomorrow. Who knows? I'd probably just go ahead and use him today.
Yeah, because he's a key part of your weekend, and you've got Wright State coming in this weekend, who are always capable. Wright State put Vanderbilt out, or am I imagining that, of the NCAA tournament, Matt, or am I imagining that? They did, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, they did. They did. They finally won a couple of games in the tournament, which that's a program that's always in it. They win the Horizon basically every year.
They should have beaten us that year. I'm a low-key Raider fan. The Raiders come
That was
hard.
a really good team. That it was a disservice to both of those teams that they sent them here.
It really, really. And Tony wasn't the complaining type, but boy, he was really whining about that. Us Italian people, takes a lot for us to get whiny. So, speaking of whininess, hey John, this South Carolina, this is I'm gonna read something to you, okay? Since January 1 of 2025, so you're talking about 14-month stretch. No? Yeah, 2020. We're in 2026. Yeah, 14 months. South Carolina basketball on the men's side, plus football, plus baseball, okay? They've played a combined 88 games against what you call the power conference competition. 88 games. How many wins do you think they have in those 88 games? Those 3 entities, the basketball. Now remember, Frankie Jr. at Texas A&M He was a hype man going into halftime.
Oh, yeah.
But he figured out a way to do the South Carolina thing, which is to say the big L.
I would say about 17 games.
They are 15-73. Now, I don't know. This is from Inside the Gamecocks over on Twitter. It says the following. Since January 1, 2025, South Carolina basketball, men's, football, and baseball has played a combined 88 games against power conference competition. The record is 15-73. That means this loyal fan base, well done by you, has experienced 88 game days and is winning 17% of the time. Over that same time period, John, they've played 59 SEC contests. How many wins in their 59 SEC contests? 59 SEC games. How many wins?
9.
9. Is that any good? Are they good at anything besides women's basketball?
And think about it.
Which they have like a $5 million payroll. Well, that's what they're doing. They're putting a lot. I don't blame them. It's all they have.
But should they be at least adequate in other sports?
Brian, it begs the question, doesn't it? Brian, it begs the question at South Carolina. Was the Final Four worth it to go through this? Doesn't it beg the question, Brian?
Yeah, it's what I find amazing is they've won 4 tournament games since 1970, and they all 4 occurred in 1 year as a 7 seed.
Wow. 4 tournament games since 1970?
All in the same season.
Yeah.
What?
Poor South Carolina. And listen, John, you and I are in the cover this thing, keep people interested, throw me a bone every once in a while. How do you keep the fires burning if you're them?
Well, first off, you try to win a championship in why am I getting an echo, Tony?
Because Brian's lurking right around the corner. But go ahead, continue.
Great. That's a distraction. Yeah, try to win a national title in women's basketball. That's the place to start. What's happened to their baseball program? They used to have a really good baseball program.
We got to talk to him about that.
Well, what makes me – I wonder what's going on when there's a problem with a program or sport.
Yeah.
I immediately go to NIL. Did they just not have enough money? They have a nice fan base, a passionate fan base.
I love their fan base.
Yeah, they pack arenas in the stadium. That really raises a question, or maybe they just hired the wrong people.
I mean, I can't believe those numbers. Again, this is who we're on the road against tonight. And my man with Gamecock Central, who breaks it down scientifically, he's over at On 3. He breaks it down scientifically on 107.5 The Game. He's an absolute rising star, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to say you knew him when? Because we've taken him from a boy to a man on here. Jack Veltri, how you doing, brother?
Oh, thanks for having me back on, guys. It's been far too long, and I appreciate the kind words.
Jack, what the hell's going on at South Carolina? Why can't we win at anything besides women's basketball?
That's a great question, honestly. I mean, football had a rough year. Basketball and baseball have been doing too well, and yeah, obviously tonight's the final home game for men's basketball, but it's shaping up to be another disappointing season, barring a absolute miracle next week in Nashville.
What kind of crowd are we expecting for tonight's activity? Because I was looking online before we jumped on, and I saw where get-ins are like $2.75 tonight, as in $2.75.
Well, the real question is, how does Tennessee travel on the road? Because last time I was at a home game, Kentucky was in town, and, Big Blue Nation travels just as well as anybody. So they packed out half the arena, all blue everywhere. So wouldn't surprise me if that's the case tonight. I hope it's a decent crowd because it is senior night, and these guys do deserve, to get the recognition they deserve despite having a rough season this year. So, we'll see how the crowd is. I'm not expecting anything great, but I don't think it'll be as bad as we've seen in recent weeks.
Jack, what kind of NIL support does South Carolina have in all sports?
So for football, they what my understanding is they spend just as much as anyone. I don't think you're keeping the top end talent that like you did like with Lenoris and Dylan Stewart if you don't spend money, right? I think you have to spend money for that to work. And you bring in some really good transfer portal pieces, you need to spend money. So they're doing it in that end. Basketball, you'd like to be a little bit higher, I think, for sure. But baseball, they spent, I think, not at the top of the SEC, but among the top SEC teams in terms of spending, they did. And you got a top 10 transfer portal class as a result of that. So I think spending more, let me say this, they spent more in baseball and basketball compared to previous years, and it just hasn't led to great results.
How do you keep people interested, man? I mean, obviously you're on a site that look, people have this misconception about our business, right? Because they'll say to me and they'll say to John, hey, it's kind of fun when you lose games and people are mad and, you're in the talk. And you're doing both. You're in the talk radio thing. Yeah, that's great. Till you lose too much, okay? Yeah. And then when you lose too much, what people do is they turn a dial. They quit reading about it. We want to go to sport as a way to get away from the mundane. When sport becomes the mundane, it was very difficult for us here. I'm on my own trying to make a living out of my house, It was very lean years when we went through the wilderness in football. Extremely lean, extremely hard to keep the train on the track. How difficult is it for you guys to keep people interested?
I think it's something that honestly doesn't get talked about enough, and I'm glad you're bringing it up because it's true. I mean, you can only incur losing, I think, for so long. Teams South Carolina is going through it real bad the last few years. For us, I can only speak to the company I work at, but our viewership, let's be honest here, it's down from 2 seasons ago. I'd write any random basketball story about this team. It would get a couple thousand clicks. Now, I'm borderline breaking. Let's just say this: it's hard to break 4 digits when you're writing a basketball story because nobody cares, and it stinks. It's unfortunate, and I think we're starting to kind of see the same thing with baseball. I think people are more interested in baseball here, just based off of the viewership we get.
Yep.
But last year wasn't that bad because people would still read baseball when the team was going through its really rough points. Basketball, people were a little more checked out, I think. But this year we're seeing it just across the board. Football is going to be the one sport that everyone reads because it's football.
Yep.
And it makes the most money. But, man, I literally saw a post on our message board the other day of people thinking about unsubscribing from Gamecock Central because it's losing is just too much. And I hate that. It should not be that way. It should be a place, regardless of what happens, for people to go through the good and bad times together. But I think it is taking a toll on people that are just why am I putting any money, regardless of whether it's into the program or into the sites that you're reading, for a losing product? It's unfortunate.
Think how much. Look at Vanderbilt. What's going on at Vanderbilt?
Yes.
We always think of Vanderbilt as a loser program, with the exception of baseball. It's been good at baseball for a long time, but in the other sports, certainly mediocrity prevails. In everything. But now you look at Vanderbilt with a women's basketball team that is contending for a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. The men's team under Mark Byington is playing really well, really hard, and of course the football experience that no one even thought was possible. Vanderbilt in contention for the playoffs. So I wonder if South Carolina fans look at that and say, oh, my God, if Vanderbilt's doing all that, what's wrong with us?
That's the thing. It's a great example that I think a lot – honestly, you could also use the Indiana example for football. They're really good at football now. And there was a long decade period of time, multiple decades where Indiana was just not good at football. I mean, 3 years ago, they won 3 games. So this program does not have a history of winning, but all of a sudden, the last 2 seasons, you're bringing Kurt Signetti, and he's doing things that have just never been done there in Indiana. It's the same thing with Vanderbilt, aside from baseball, because they're always good at baseball. But the other sports, yeah, they've improved tremendously. And I think the main thing here is, look, let's be honest. I think Jeremiah Zanotti, South Carolina's AD for going on a second year now, he kind of was dealt a pretty rough situation.
Yeah.
Because you look at football was coming off a good season, so that wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
He got there at the right time with football. When basketball's doing good,
Yep.
but men's basketball is going through a rough stretch.
Yes.
And now baseball's going through a rough stretch. You're not going to fire coaches after 1 year, like with pulmonary and baseball, but now you have a larger sample size. He's got some tough decisions to make here with basketball in the next 2 weeks. And then baseball, if this continues, he'll have a tough decision to make before June begins. So the pressure's on him, but, he was dealt a little bit of a tougher hand than I think other schools would have had. Because not every school is in this situation like South Carolina is right now. It kind of does remind me of Vanderbilt before they got good.
Matt Dixon, I want to bring you in here because it's really odd seeing South Carolina baseball as well really be kind of in the dregs of society like they are right now. It's almost like, think about the Coastal team, East Carolina. Think all the teams in the Carolinas we've seen have all the success in recent years. And then, Maneri, Matt, just kind of a retread higher. It doesn't – I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, Matt, does it, that they would struggle in baseball like that?
Not to this degree for this long, but, they just haven't made great hires. And with Paul Maneri being the most recent one, and he's just such a bad fit for this NIL and portal, just constant roster turnover era.
Yep.
I just, unless he just had, a bunch of young gun recruiters that could go out and get him players, and it doesn't seem like that's the case. It felt like an odd hire at the time, and it just hasn't worked out, and it doesn't look like it's going to. And they had some tough injury luck right before the season started too. But no, it's crazy they've been down for this long because they were one of the powerhouses of the league in the 2000s and in the early part of the 2010s when they won back-to-back national titles.
Jack, what do you think is going to happen with South Carolina football? To me, that's a really intriguing program with Shane Beamer, and the ups and downs, the huge wins, the just mind-boggling failures. One season you're contending for the playoffs. The next season you're near the bottom of the conference. What do you think is going to happen with that football program under Beamer this year?
It is fascinating, the trend. It's like the first 2 years were really good. Year 3 in 23 was a 5-7 season, very disappointing. 24, you're right, almost made the playoffs, and then 25 was the worst season to date. It is strange how there's just not been a level of consistency yet until what's going to be Beamer's 6th year on the job. I think South Carolina is going to be better this year. It's hard not to be because you look at last year, for all their shortcomings, they were in the games going into the fourth quarter, right? They had the lead against Alabama. They were in a one-score game against LSU, right? There was Clemson was a tight game down the stretch. There were a lot of games where if it goes differently, South Carolina is probably going to a bowl game and having a much better year. We're not talking about it the same way we are right now. But I do think because they spent money, because they retained key players, you returned the big three of Lenore Sellers, Nick Harbour, and Dylan Stewart. You return those guys, that's big. Then you add pieces around them that are really good, like a Jacarius Peaks, a really nice addition, some good players on defense. You've rebranded that offensive line from scratch, essentially, with only a few guys coming back. It's a much better group on paper, but you don't play games on paper. You play them on the field, and that'll start in September. You've got a chance to start the year 3-0 with games against Kent State and Towson, and then Mississippi State. You should be 3-0, and then SEC will be tough. But I don't think this is a playoff team necessarily, not right now. But I think we could see this team winning anywhere between full eligibility and getting to maybe 9 wins max. Like 6 to 9 wins, I think, is the range that feels realistic.
Hey, by the way, I wouldn't sleep on that Kent State bunch after what they did to us a couple weekends ago in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Don't sleep on the Flashes, man.
Yeah, they're good at baseball.
As Jack Velshi joined, listen, we're just doing our thing here, and you're firing me up, focusing me, and preparing me for what's going to be tonight. And I appreciate, Jack Veltri, the great work you do over at Gamecock Central, because at the end of the day, that had to be unbelievable in your world. John was talking about football, and I laugh about Shane Beamer going into that, hyping that crowd up down there at A&M, and then coming out there and spitting the bit in the second half. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen, Jack. Now, you and I haven't talked since. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in sports. What was the reaction like there at your place? I mean, this guy was the hype man. He was hyping them up. It was
bad. It was bad because they were up 33 at that point at halftime, and
30-3.
Then they blow the lead and they lose 31-30. It's an even worse look because they lost that game and didn't do anything in the second half.
How about this, though? It's even worse because A&M was trying to A&M. A&M went and lost their next 2 games. A&M said, hold my beer. We started it, but South Carolina couldn't finish it. We could have lost 3 in a row to end the season. That's how ridiculous Texas A&M is. But, man, that whole thing, in a way, I kind of like, you know, that series they had. The Beamer guy seems like such a good dude. I bet he's probably pretty cool to the media behind the scenes, is he?
Yeah, he's great. He's a great.
He seems like a nice person. Yeah, he does.
100%.
Yeah.
What's the fan consensus on Shane Beamer now, though, with all the ups and downs we're talking about and the colossal collapse against A&M, that kind of thing?
This is a prove it year. This is you have to do well, I think, this season. Now, here's the thing. I don't think necessarily a bad season gets them fired, but because you have new coordinators and you need time, right, with an offense. Your offense is not going to just magically be incredible overnight. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong on that with Kendall Trials, but these things take time. So I think he is. There's a lot of pressure on him this year, right? I think there is a hot seat to watch for with Shane. But I think, honestly, unless they just don't make a bowl game again and it's like 4 wins once again, and you put so much into making this better, then move on to them, I think. But I think if they're making a bowl game, and it's not the playoff, but if they're getting to a bowl game, I think he's going to be around for 2027. So we'll see. But the pressure's on him, but I don't think it's as bad as it maybe seems. Like, I think he's going to, have a good season, and we'll see what happens from there.
Jack Veltri, tonight, does South Carolina have enough to sort of rough up Gillespie and make this game kind of sloppy on the Vols and make the Vols, kind of struggle around to find some answers without native men on the floor to South Carolina do the JOB in the middle of the squared circle? What do you think?
Well, not having Amon out there definitely helps, but Tennessee is still the number 1 team when it comes to offensive rebounding percentage. Now, if you watch and look at any of South Carolina's games this year, the games they've lost, they don't win the rebounding battle. In fact, they get killed in the rebounding battle. Like Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, they got killed in the rebounding battle in those games and lost pretty handily. So if you're Tennessee tonight, I know you don't have Amon out there, but you have other capable bigs, that's the recipe for success. Now, getting rebounds is one thing, scoring points is another. Gillespie's a really good scorer, one of the best in the country, in the SEC for sure. I think you just need to have a good rebounding night and take advantage of those second chance opportunities you're going to get. And I think Tennessee should be able to win this game without much trouble. We've just seen the same story over and over again. If you are a competent rebounding team and you are able to beat South Carolina in that battle, more times than not, you're going to win the game.
And these guys are an all-time great rebounding team in the sport is what they are. They work so hard at it. It's their stock. It's literally, they're probably, well, it's the thing they do the best. And boy, do they do it. They do it voraciously. And they have to, because they couldn't throw it in the ocean as a basketball team. Don't shoot the three ball well. The other night, I think they were like 11. What was the number, Brian? 9 of 27 on layups. What was the number in the loss to Alabama for the Vols? Like a high school number. 9 of 27, I want to say. It was something not good. At any rate, Jack, on the way out, tell the living listener, Jack Veltri, how they can find you over at Gamecock Central. And I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you guys for having me on. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Jack T Veltri, JCKTVELTRI is my Twitter handle. You can follow us on Gamecock Central. It's Gamecock Central on all of our social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go ahead and subscribe to GamecockCentral.com. Though I don't think any of your listeners will be, although if you are subscribed to VolQuest, you can go ahead and read our stuff and check it out. So, yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people on there subscribe to VolQuest, and I love reading VolQuest stuff. So if you are subscribed to them with On 3, you can read our stuff at Central since it is On 3. But, yes, thank you guys so much for having me on, as always.
Hey, God bless, man. Thank you, brother. Good talking to you. Bri, the line tonight is 8.5. What are you leaning, Bri? If I said you got to go one way or another, I'm going to find you, I'm going to get you. What would you say, Bri?
I think the Vols will win by about 10 points. So I don't know if that's confident. I don't know if I'm confident enough to play Tennessee minus 8.5. But
I agree with that.
I can't really go South Carolina either because they're so bad. Even getting 8.5 points.
John, if you're gambling on this game, you need it pretty badly. Because I'm going to tell you, this. How do we know? Like James Daniel just said, and I agree with him. Tennessee could double up South Carolina on the glass tonight. You have to really appreciate how little South Carolina has inside in terms of, and their want to go get a basketball. They don't even, the Alabama team doesn't try to rebound a ball. This South Carolina team says to Alabama, hold my Dos Equis, Cervezas Mexicanas 2026, White Plains, New York.
I don't know where that came from. I watched South Carolina early in the season.
Yeah.
And then said, what's the point?
Life's
too short.
Yes.
And didn't watch them anymore. But, yeah, this just a dismal team.
Awful.
And I don't know how they got that bad. I tell you, Jack laid it out pretty well with all their sports. But but with this team, a lot of times when you're missing a key player, the other players step up. And this Tennessee team I think it has the capacity to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if some other guys play some of their better games against South Carolina. And you point out, rebounding, Tennessee goes into a game with so much confidence as a rebounding team. It goes in there, and that's a point of pride with Tennessee. And here's a chance you've already got pretty good stats.
Yeah.
Well, boy, those stats could grow against the Gamecocks.
It's literally their identity. It reminds me of that Lady Vol team. So the number is 8.5 tonight, Brian. Is that right? 8.5.
Yes, it's 8.5.
I'm inclined, Matt, to think the Vols cover that. Yes, Vols cover that, right, against this Morbin team. And by the way, Matt, your Kentucky boys, when they were in there, I guess it was last Tuesday, there were several thousand Kentucky fans in that place. What is wrong with those people? Unless you live within 15 minutes of that place, why in the world would you truck from wherever to go watch this Kentucky team play basketball? Matt Diskin, how do you reply to that? What is wrong with those people, Matt?
Well, there's a whole lot of things wrong with those people. Traveling to basketball games is probably a minor one. I don't know about tonight. Tennessee's not going to blow anybody out, although this would be one of the chances. I think Tennessee can probably pull away a little late and maybe cover, but I expect it to be within kind of that 10-point range for the majority of the game, just because Tennessee's, you have to adjust without Amen, and they just don't blow teams out. They don't play with big leads very well for whatever reason.
Yep.
They just haven't all year.
Yep.
So
I go back to that Missouri game, Matt. Missouri wanted to be blown out in the first 6 minutes of that game. They sleptwalk. Past Tennessee teams would have been up 20 on them and would have coasted and cruised and beaten them by 30 last Tuesday night. This team, no. We're going to play around. We're going to throw fake alley-oops. We're going to fake the back door. We're going to throw a 90-foot baseball pass. I got my boy Berg in there doing some Spurgeon Chapel half-court offense over there in the Oak Ridge Civic Center. Shout out Alex Myers. I mean, this team here, they're capable of doing anything to anybody and everything to everybody and all at once.
But Tony, South Carolina takes you down to a different level.
They're off.
They're so inept.
Dreadful.
You can do things against them that you don't normally do. Missouri's got talent.
Didn't South Carolina lose, Matt, to Army in baseball last week? Or am I imagining that, a series? Who'd they lose to?
They lost to Queen College from North Carolina. It's the first time that they had ever beaten a power team in baseball.
That's the kind of team you think you beat 17-3.
Correct.
Well, so the way Jack was explaining it, NIL's not the problem. Well, if you've got decent NIL support and these are results,
still there?
Well, but I'm talking about all sports now. If you've got decent NIL sports and this is what you get, here's the real killer. How long can you sustain the NIL support? I mean, if you're contributing to these programs, you must feel like a complete idiot.
I wonder that about that Lady Vol team when they watch the way these kids compete. If you gave to that, you got to look at. You got to go to Danny White and go, hey, look, Coach. I have a friend who calls everybody Coach. Look, Coach, you ain't getting another dollar out of me. I mean, I love you. I love you. Love your show. And I like her. She seems like a nice lady. But this not getting back on defense thing. Tonight's game will be interesting. My friends over at VIP Play, look, $20 bet, $100 in bonus bets instantly. Brian said take the Vols to cover. Brian is hard on the Vols tonight. The promo code's TN Tony. And live always with 200-plus leagues, numerous bet types, props, options. If you listened to me last night, the Flyers in the upset at Toronto, you made money. You were cashing a ticket last night if you listened to me. A ticket, I say. VIP Play where everyone gets treated like a VIP. And if you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the great state of Tennessee to place a bet. Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch coming up on many of these same stations. We have a lot to get to, a lot to discuss as we continue. We'll get back into our conversation on the other side right after this.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family-owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Newsflash, Basilio listeners, the spring real estate market just moved up. Yes, it's chilly outside and you're still in your puffy coat, but if you need to sell your East Tennessee property, you could be the hottest house on the block. Hi there, Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. February is the sweetheart month of real estate, and savvy sellers know exactly what that means. Get ahead of the game and give me a call at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Chilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. I'll tell you this about those South Carolina fans. That's a good group of fans, man. When I read you how bad they've been, Matt, we've never been that bad in all three things at one time like that. With a football team that had a dreadful year last year. I mean, that's awful, guys.
Wait a minute.
Have we?
the baseball program was about the worst in the SEC.
Yes.
And that came during a period when the football
when you
program...
had Conzo Dooley and Todd Raleigh for a year or two there, that they all overlapped and you were pretty
Boy,
bad.
that'd be interesting to do the math on that, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be interesting to do that math?
It would not. I would not want to do the math on that.
Todd Raleigh.
Well, you've got that the Raleigh towel over here on your wall. Brings back fond memories.
Yep. They had UT had a thing called the Raleigh, RALEIGH.
So did they call it it should have been?
No, it's the Raleigh towel.
Okay.
You're right. But I think they were going for Raleigh. They were trying to think of how do we take this poop stain and
there wasn't a lot
promote
of
him.
there wasn't a lot of rallying going on with that bunch.
That'd be a negatory. All right, John, 2014 playoff, for it or against it? You're going to do away with the conference championship games. We're going to play the season earlier. This is the proposal. We're going to play the season earlier. It's 23 plus 1. When you look at other sports and you look at the way other sport, and this is a professional sport now, there's probably 50 teams trying to win at that sport right now that have to see what Indiana's done. And if you open up the playoffs, it allows more people an opportunity to get in. So there's more people competing for the same players. I think a 2014 playoff makes the sport better.
I'm not so sure that. I think it's too many teams. I think it's just too many teams. When you're talking about, we've talked before in 2024 that the dreadful sequence of first round games that were just one route after another, you're going to get that more than. Do you think the 24th best team in the country could win the national championship?
In time?
No.
Maybe team 23?
Never happening. Never.
Well, here's the thing that's going to happen. Because Josh Heupel and all these coaches, they all want the 2014 playoff. By the way, Mitch Barnhart, happy trails to you. There's a report out that he's getting ready to retire. Happy trails to Mitch Barnhart. And happy trails to John Pelfrey. Two guys with Kentucky ties. John Pelfrey got asked a question today over at Tennessee Tech, where he had a kind of a dreadful run there.
You guys make fun of Kentucky fans, but I think that's one of the most loyal fan bases in the SEC.
John, I'm not getting fun of them. There were several.
You said, what's wrong with those people?
Several thousand of them in attendance. Yeah, they're sick with it.
And set Matt up for a good one-liner.
Well,
if that was your goal.
No. I was talking about the fact that, Matt, tonight, how many people are we going to have in there tonight? What do you think? With what's going on with our basketball team this year and the watchability of our team? 1,500 maybe?
I'd say maybe 1,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I'd say a few hundred.
No.
There's only going to be about 3,000 at the game, period.
Yeah, it's true. Literally, it's a $2.75 get in, and I think $2.65 of that's a surcharge.
Who said you can't take a middle-class family can't go to a major sporting event in the SEC?
You calling that a major sporting event? A team South Carolina puts on the floor?
Well, it's a Power 4 conference, and Tennessee is NCAA bound. You've got
You ever heard the saying you couldn't give those tickets away?
Sure.
Yeah, well.
So, yeah, with the 2014 play, the one thing I do like about it, I am really over. I don't want to make a decision based solely on how much I loathe these conference championship games now. That was ridiculous watching Georgia absolutely destroy Alabama. But going in with the SEC, it's as though you've got protection. It was an exhibition game.
Back to the 2014 playoff, guys. Estrella Ella over on YouTube says the following. Estrella Ella has entered the chat and says the following, and I agree with this. With 24 teams, you could end up with some interesting style matchups, which could lead to some upsets, even in a 24-team deal. Look, Team 24 ain't going to win it all because they're going to be a group of 5 team. But Team 23, kind of like Cinderella matchups in March, because here's what they're going to do.
If you're team 9 on, you host the opening round of the playoff. There will be upsets in that, which will create some volatility. Those games will be interesting. We'll all watch them. And then teams 1 through 8 sit and watch. But if you're in that 9 through 17, however that goes, 9 through 16, the next 8, you get to host a game. I like that, John. I like that format. And if you're 1 through 8, you get to sit and rest your team, a la Nate Ament, and then you get to come out and you get to host as well. This thing they have now where teams 1 through 4 get punished and then get beat in the first round in a lot of cases because they're sitting there waiting doesn't make any sense.
I would much prefer, I could really go for 16-team playoff, no conference title games. But we won't get that because the Big Ten is not moving off the 24.
No.
Because the 16-team conference would favor the SEC, which most times is better in the lower, upper tier, and middle than the Big Ten. And there's the Big Ten at the very highest level, of course, is very good. But one thing that amuses me about this, we saw where Josh Heupel came out in favor of it, are these coaches. I know what they're thinking. Well, you need to make the playoff, and I can make more opportunities for me to make the playoff. This is quite an illusion. The idea that if you make the playoffs, you're good.
Safe.
No, you're not. You're going to see teams.
He's right.
You're going to see coaches. We talked about this yesterday. You're going to see coaches make the playoff and get fired.
That year.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna see an Ohio State coach not make it to the semifinals and get fired.
Here's the thing. Josh Heupel, play the tape forward, Josh Heupel. You make the playoffs 3 years in a row and don't win a game, and you'll walk the plank here. In a 24-team scenario. That's how this is going to go. Any of these coaches. You coach at Florida and say you go three years in a row. And this is one thing I agree with Matt about. But they've already changed the sport. They've already altered the sport. The toothpaste is not going back in the tube. I would go back to the bowl system. Here's what I would do. If you made me king, I would take the leagues and put them back where they were geographically. And then I would have the old bowl system with the NIL system we currently have and let these teams regionally fight over these players.
Boy, that would be entertaining in Texas. A lot of programs with money. Oh my gosh, that's Southwest. Bring back the old Southwest
and make
Conference.
It real, man, and make it rain and make it real. By the way, speaking of simping, simping ain't easy. As a Godfather once said. Matt, did you like the Godfather in wrestling back in the day when they would come out and do the whole train? Did you like it, Matt, or no?
It was a good gimmick, yes.
Okay. Have you guys heard what Mississippi's going to do? They've just passed something in their house, and now it's got to go through the assembly, and then the governor's got to sign it. No taxes in a state that has a state income tax, John. Athletes are not going to get taxed on their NIL. Everybody else has to pay. You talk about when do we quit simping for these people?
Good God.
When do we quit kissing their tails? Y'all? Ewans? And the rationale is, well, Tennessee doesn't have an income. Yeah, but we have a consumption tax. Okay, we don't have an income tax. We have a high sales tax. Down there, they're just going to, and it's already a dirt poor state as it is. They're going to the athletes don't have to pay. I mean, you talk about when does it end? When does this end? Does it not end? I guess it doesn't end.
It ends eventually.
Does it end?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like it's going to end.
Well, no, not right now. But the irony there, you talk about what a poor state. Mississippi is. I mean, I grew up right across the border in Louisiana. I never thought of Mississippi. It was considered a poor state.
Yeah.
Not West Virginia poor.
That's right.
Jennifer can tell us about that.
Oh man, I love my West Virginia people. I wish they were in the league. That's one thing I would do. If
I wish. I'd
put them in the league tomorrow.
I mean, you talk about a passionate fan base.
I love Jack Veltri, but I would get South Carolina out of here so quickly and add West Virginia, and you wouldn't even. Would anybody even notice if you did that?
No, it would.
Who would even notice that?
And here, honestly,
yeah,
though Missouri's been more successful. If you replace
Get Missouri
Missouri
out of here.
with West Virginia, send Missouri back to the Big 12 and take West Virginia.
Missouri fans would love it. If you did that, they would love it. They
of
would love
course
to have
they
their old
would.
rivalries back.
Sure.
Listen, because that's what Marky Mark and the Lunchy Bunch is all about after this.
Time for your next move. You want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gufon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gufon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years. 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gufon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' values. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com. Or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fanrun Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Patterson from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately, from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham. They've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Start the new year with comfort and savings from Pipe Wrench Home Services. Tired of high energy bills and constant heating and AC repairs? Ready for a more efficient home? There's never been a better time to upgrade your comfort and take control of your energy costs. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. A new energy-efficient system means lower bills, fewer breakdowns, and peace of mind for years to come. And with Pipe Wrench Home Services same-day service guarantee, you won't wait to start enjoying a more comfortable home.
But they don't.
Your comfort isn't just our job; it's our promise. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. Schedule your free estimate today at PipeWrench.com. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer good with approved credit. Some restrictions apply. Visit PipeWrench.com for details.
Risk involved now. I mean, do you think?
Hey, I'm Alan, and we ship floors on Bristol Highway in Johnson City. Are you tired of walking around on that ratty-looking carpet that you have? Well, today's your lucky day because we have Supercore on sale for $1.79. 58 colors. We're looking at
but
Supercore.
How
is
does
the best
that
waterproof floor
the
with
risk
a
of going
lifetime
to a six?
Where are you going to find that
to the
anywhere?
risk of
Nowhere. Let me tell you.
$1.79,
$1.79 lifetime
then you're done.
warranty. Come on down to Bristol Highway on your truck and trailer, and let's make a deal.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for ball fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio.
Welcome back to the Tony Basilio Show. John Adams and Brian Hartman and Mark Griffin's going to join us right now on the Skype. Mark, welcome in. We've got I don't know if I want to call it a big game tonight at South Carolina, but it's a game where the Vols will have to play without Nate Ament. And anyway, Tennessee, what can they do without Ament? How are they going to have to change their attack? Will South Carolina take away some other things? Will they have to? What do you think they'll look like?
Is that for John or me?
That's for you.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a big loss without Ament. We saw that, how it unraveled against Alabama. It's funny. I was sitting next to a guy that he predicted it. He just said, hey, they're going to run out of gas without Ament on the floor. And sure enough, you could just feel it. It was just a slow drip, more or less, of regardless if it was a 13-point advantage, the second half or so, you could really just feel it at the arena. I don't know how it was on TV for those that watched, but you saw it coming. But back to your question, I think for Barnes and staff and the personnel, if I'm South Carolina, I am doubling Gillespie every time the ball's inbounded. I'm making someone else take it up the floor. I take it out of his hands as much as I can. I'm really on red alert wherever he is on screens more than ever, because you can afford to take a bigger risk now and make other guards take open shots, because you can't stop everything. But this is a good opportunity for Tennessee, for Evans or Bird or even Abram that were on the court to have a good shooting night. But if I'm Tennessee, and this will be really neat to see, John, I would love to see them go inside more tonight than they ever have this season, because of the advantage that Tennessee has inside with their front line, and South Carolina, how ineffective they've been on the inside. I think you could really take advantage of their bigs, get to the free throw line early, and even though Tennessee's had past failures at the line, will get more opportunities to shoot, maybe even get twice as many free throws attempted as South Carolina, and score a lot more points inside versus relying on the perimeter game.
Well, Mark, you're certainly right about that. South Carolina is not well endowed inside. Tennessee can exploit that. Carey should have a big game. But let's look beyond South Carolina. Suppose if the game goes according to chalk, Tennessee's an 8.5-point favorite. It wins, moves on. When you look ahead to the SEC tournament, to a final regular season game against Vanderbilt first, and then an SEC tournament, you've got your star player with not one but two injuries, an ankle and a knee. And we've seen that he's re-aggravated the ankle in playing, and maybe injured his knee a little bit as well, simply because he was favoring an ankle. What about just shutting him down and say, Rick Barnes goes to Nate Ament and says, we want you 100% for the NCAA tournament. We'll take our chances on the floor without you before then. You just got to make this a point of emphasis, and you got to get healthy and be ready to go 100% for the NCAA tournament. Why not take that approach?
Well, obviously, I think it's definitely an option that'll be on the table, John. I don't think UT fans and us hopefully that will be the number one option that he takes, but it is a viable option. Of course, we want to see him play every game that we can. I think it's a great move that he's not playing tonight, and I don't know if it's been determined against Vanderbilt or not, but you don't want him to be able to play if he's 50%. Now, if he's 80% and can go and is giving approval through the training staff, then sure, go and play just shorter minutes if you can. That would be a nice option. But if that's ruled out, then you know what? Then take those 2 games off, see what they can do for the SEC tournament. You still got a little break. But, John, if he's not ready for the SEC tournament, rest him. I agree with you. The biggest stage is the NCAA tournament. Now, what's at cost here is if he sits Vanderbilt and let's say Tennessee wins tonight and loses at home, they ruled out that double bye for the for the SEC tournament in Nashville. Of course, that's just one night, but that's still an extra night for the whole team to rest. And I do think that's a big deal to be able to have a double bye versus playing on that, I guess it'd be Wednesday night, an extra game there. But it's going to be really interesting. There's a lot of people that are going to be following this, and I just feel for the kid more than anybody because of the way he's played recently. And you hate for anybody to get hurt, but especially, John, multiple injuries. That even compounds the issue.
Well, Mark, you mentioned the fact, 50% chance. If he's 50%, don't play him at all. 80%, maybe you play him in limited minutes. But I guess my concern would be the fact that Tennessee's kind of tried that. He wasn't 100%. Now, I don't know what the percentage was, but he re-aggravated the injury. So to me, the benefit of that, of having Nate Ament at 80% and beating Vanderbilt, when I weigh that against the possibility of Nate Ament going down with a bad ankle injury, a worse ankle injury, or maybe hurting his knee and favoring that because of the ankle, if I weigh that and you lose him, the risk of losing Nate Ament, maybe I'm being too cautious here, but to me, the risk of losing Nate Ament, you run the risk of being one and done in the NCAA tournament. And that's been where Tennessee has struggled in the past in the NCAA tournament. Great regular seasons didn't lead to a great tournament. Of course, everybody knows Tennessee's never made a Final Four. So I would just want to put everything on that NCAA tournament and try. Can you change my mind on that?
I mean, it's pretty convincing, your argument, John. It'd be, people have fun going back and forth. over the next few days and weeks about this before it comes to that point. I'm mixed on it because as a player, you don't want to miss. And I'm sure he's dying to get out there. And even at 80%, when you play on the court, you don't really, for the most part, have a fear of, I'm going to get hurt again. I think a lot of that, to me, is noise. Could it happen? Yes. But could Gillespie get elbowed in the eye and have, get hurt, or some other key player? Anytime could happen. And that's just part of the sport. I would just hate to be so risk averse versus, can you compete? Can you give me 4 minutes here, 3 minutes there, and do what you can? And that's where it's going to go back to the training staff. Ament's going to have to be 100% transparent on how he really feels versus emotionally how he feels to try to help the team. There's going to be a lot of long discussions, and then you've got to look at Ament's people in the background that are in his ear of, hey, you should wait, you should play, you should do this. And he's just going to have to belly up and go with how he really feels. And that's it, period, regardless of any other circumstances, as long as he gets the approval from the training staff. But it's going to be interesting. It's not what we want to hear, unfortunately, but it does happen. And then, you have to literally go to the next man up mantra to bring on another player to step up in his absence, and hope short-term and long-term that individual or individuals gain a lot more confidence that's going to carry over even in the SEC tournament if he doesn't play, or even into the NCAA tournament, because they've had more on their shoulders and have followed through.
Hey, Mark, can Tennessee beat Vanderbilt without Ament? Do you think, at home?
I don't think so. I really don't. I just, he is such a weapon. And, the gripe this year, if you want to say, or what's been lacking on the offensive production was scores. And if you take away one of your main scorers or primary scorers in Ament, you've got Gillespie, then it's such more of an easier focus on Gillespie. You can shade players towards him more. Like I said, he's your primary target now until someone else can beat you, and that's a risk I'm willing to take as an opposing coach. And plus, Ament's our number one rebounder, which we don't even talk about. I mean, he's the best rebounder on the team, best player on the team. His presence is contagious. You take that out, it's like, I hate to use the word desperation, but it kind of, in a sense, is desperation, because it's like you look around on the squad, if you're on the teams, like, who's going to score? And I don't know if you guys do this like I do, but when I'm watching different personnel on the court, and I'm like, okay, other than Gillespie, who's going to score? and you're going to be doing that every possession? That's not something I want to see.
Mark, something you said earlier about people in Nate Ament's ear. I mean, agents, quote, advisors, whatever you want to call them, all elite players have that kind of input from the outside, sometimes with their best interest in mind. Do you think there might be someone in that camp that would tell Nate Ament, Nate, there's too much at stake here. You're hurt. You've got a hurt ankle. You've got a hurt knee. Let's just shut it down and start thinking about the next step in your career in the NBA, because we know there's nothing he's going to do in the next few weeks and all of March Madness, no matter how well he plays. It's already been determined that he's an elite NBA prospect. So do you think there might be someone that would say, you don't need to play any more college basketball, let's shut it down? Is that possible?
It's possible, but I think improbable. The reason I say that, it's not like it's an ACL. It's not like something more serious. Now, I don't know how serious his ankle or knee injury is. I don't know. But I just don't see that as just shut it down for the rest of the season. I really don't. I just think if they're really looking after his best interest, if he can go, they're going to want him to play. And you look at the other side of that, if he did re-injure, think about basketball. You got a lot of time to recover based on this type of injury. Once again, not an ACL. So if he was to re-injure his ankle or knee, then you've got a lot of time to rest and a lot of professional care. And then he tried. And then I think that goes a long way when it's like, hey, yeah, he hurt himself. And then it's like, oh, is it going to hurt his draft status? Well, really, no, but it showed that he stepped up versus sitting out. And, what's all the attention been on this season as far as sitting out? Darren Peterson at Kansas. I mean, how many opinions you got of him now when he comes out of he doesn't want to play a game because he has a cold, but yet Ament plays on a bad knee? I mean, if I'm a scout, you're sitting there weighing those two. Not that they're going to go 1-2, but you're looking at, their passion for the game. You're going to lean towards Ament's camp of this guy was fighting till he went down and still fighting.
That's a really good point. That he, all these players you're talking about, these high picks, they've all got the talent. But when you get to that next level, it's about other things. They start to kick in and become more of a factor, and certainly toughness. I wonder, but when you think about toughness, we think of Rick Barnes as a tough coach. He really stresses toughness in his program. Toughness on defense, toughness on the board. Not just physical toughness, but mental toughness. So do you think Rick Barnes can pull back when making a decision on Ament and say we need to shut him down till the NCAA tournament? Or do you think, no, Nate needs to show how tough he is. He's done it. He's played before with an injury. Let's keep doing that. I wonder how Rick Barnes might be looking at this. What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, I think with Rick Barnes being others focused, I really do think he's going to take into consideration what's best for Ament before he does what's best for him and the team. I really do think that, and I've experienced that with him in the past with, player that I coached that went on to Tennessee, Keon Johnson, and how he looked after him and his wellness, and other examples that I've heard from people that are really close to the program, not on chat boards or anything. So first and foremost, he's going to do what's best for Ament, and that'll be what's best for the program and for him. And that's why you have depth, John. When you're out in the transfer portal getting guys, I mean, do you want stars to have injuries? No, but you've got to have guys you can look down on that bench and say, all right, time to step it up. What do you got? I played you here. Situational offense, situational defense. Now we're going to give you a run. Just go out and make it happen. Play hard, play smart, play together, and roll the dice. It's unfortunate timing once again, but he's not. The good news for Ament, he's not out for the rest of the season. So it could be a short-term loss. Hopefully, long-term gain to be determined. It's bad timing because people like me, I'm really stressing the double bye. Is it end-all, be-all for the SEC tournament? Not at all. It's one less game. And we don't know how they're going to fare in the SEC tournament anyway, but it's obviously it's more fun to watch him involved for all of us fans that love to watch Ament play and grow, and the whole team. This whole team's been through a lot. It'd be nice to see them, I hate to even use the word peak at the right time. I think it's an overused term in this part of the season. It's like peaking at the right time. Well, you peak one game, next game, how do you fare? It's really difficult to be, I think, consistent game after game. There's always opposing teams are going to have runs, but good teams, tough teams know how to win at the end. And I just hope we're able to see a lot of games in March during the March Madness for this program and get into that second weekend, because I know we're looking ahead, but John, you get in that second weekend, anything can happen. It's all about matchups. People can talk about the whole 5-12, pick your 12s, because they have each year they have upsets over the 5, but it's all about matchups, and I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So
yeah, one thing I want to follow up on though. When you talk about it, okay, well, Brian, we need to take a break here.
Finish your thought, John, and then we'll take a break.
Well, just think about this, and we'll come back to it. A worst case tournament, NCAA tournament scenario for Tennessee going forward, if say they play without Nate Ament. Here's what I'm setting up. Nate Ament doesn't play the rest of the season or in the NCAA or in the SEC tournament. Tennessee loses 2 games to Vanderbilt, first game of the SEC tournament. How would that affect them going into the NCAA tournament in terms of seeding, that kind of stuff? We'll come back to that.
Beautiful.
We'll take a short timeout, and we'll be back on the other side.
Hey, I'm Alan, and we ship floors on Bristol Highway in Johnson City. Are you tired of walking around on that ratty-looking carpet that you have? Well, today's your lucky day, because we have Supercore on sale for $1.79. 58 colors. We're liquidating. Supercore is the best waterproof floor with a lifetime warranty. Where are you going to find that anywhere else? Nowhere, let me tell you. $1.79, lifetime warranty. Come on down to Bristol Highway on your truck and trailer, and let's make a deal.
You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit, because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game in this, the year of the World Cup in North America. Celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders. Fly with Calhoun's wings or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces. Award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest, finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
Back to the Tony Basilio Show. John Adams, Brian Hartman sitting in with Mark Griffin as Tennessee gets set to play South Carolina tonight. And Mark, you wanted to touch on a few things about the Gamecocks.
Yeah, just real briefly, Brian. I mean, since they're playing tonight, people may wonder a little bit about them. Of course, they go on Tony's blog with the Griffin three-pointers. I really touch on a lot about statistics, but I like to dive in a little deeper on stats because it's one thing to look at stats, but another to uncover like why they're in that situation or how do you plan against that or strategize or scout. But one of the concerns, if it's a close game, let's hope it's not. If it is, it's a concern. One red flag is South Carolina's 8th in the country in free throw shooting, almost 79%. And to give you a nice little comparison, looking versus Tennessee, Tennessee's about almost 10 points lower percentage-wise than South Carolina. So that's a big factor if it gets to that point. But on the downside for South Carolina, one of the biggest things besides the rebounding that y'all discussed earlier was their three-point shooting's atrocious, 30.7%. There's only 30 teams worse than them in the country. So if we see South Carolina get hot tonight from the three-point line, that's going to be a head scratcher.
So you're saying there could be a lot of bricks tonight?
Yes.
For both teams, really. Especially
hope.
Tennessee at the free throw line.
Yeah, and let's hope. Well, if there's more bricks from Tennessee, let's just hope they get double attempts. Because if you're shooting, 30 free throws and hit 18 at a 60% rate, I can handle that versus shooting, 12 12 free throws and making like 5. So Tennessee just needs to really get the ball inside, which we covered earlier, take advantage of that mismatch because you've got multiple players. Looks like everybody's healthy now as far as the bigs for Tennessee. Rotate them as needed. It'll be interesting to see if Tennessee goes big tonight, guys, which we haven't talked. But will they have 3 bigs in the game? Will there be a need for 3 bigs? And who's going to be that 3-4 man that can shoot from a distance? Or are they just going to say, hey, we're going to run 3 bigs and we're going inside and I got 2 guards? That would be interesting too. I doubt we'll see that, but if we did, who would be that more of the player facing the basket? Probably Brown, I would assume. Another thing about South Carolina, they're 1-9 the last 10. So these guys are just waiting for the season to be over. But 9 of their other 17 losses have been by single digits. So it's not like, I know they're bad this season, and I hate it for Coach Lamont Paris. I've actually had a chance to get to know him when he was at Chattanooga. He recruited a kid that I coached for EAB. Really great guy. Had a long-time career as assistant at Wisconsin. And for those people that are into history, Wisconsin, I was just at the tournament, I think it was 9 years ago in Hawaii, and Wisconsin played in that tournament. He was an assistant there. He's had pretty good success. I don't know if, I'm not going to talk coaching carousel today. It'd be interesting if they bring him back next year. He's only been to 1 NCAA tournament with South Carolina, and this is his 4th season. And then when he was with UT Chattanooga before, it took him 5 seasons, but the 5th season, he made it to the round of 64. So a little bit of background on Coach Paris.
Well, Mark, looking ahead for Tennessee down the stretch, I'm looking for a worst. What's the worst that could happen, I guess? Nate Ament sits out the Vanderbilt game, doesn't play in the SEC tournament, but is 100% ready to go for the NCAA tournament, and Tennessee makes that very obvious in case the tournament selection committee is listening. So that's one side of it. The other, so you lose 2 more games, but Nate Ament's ready to go. Just what would be the negative of that? How much might that affect Tennessee's seeding, a momentum, that kind of thing?
That's a great question, John. I mean, if you look at seeding, if you are 1-2 the next 3, you're definitely off the 5 line. Because right now, according to Lenardi, and that's who I always reference, that's the only one that I follow because he's the best. You've got Arkansas as the first 5 seed, UT is the second 5 seed, Vandy's the 3rd, St. John's. So you're going to drop to a 6 seed at least. So difference between a 5 seed or the goal, I think, for most Tennessee fans is to try to get a 4 seed, but at the same time, second round 4 seed, you're more than likely playing a 5 seed. So how much difference is that? It's just going to go to matchups. Would I like Tennessee playing Virginia on the 4 seed? I would much rather play them than maybe some of the other teams that may be a potential there, unless maybe Gonzaga. I wouldn't mind playing them. I think they're very overrated. But a 6 seed, if you drop to a 6, then you're playing second round a 3 seed. So it's just going to get a lot tougher. It could be an Iowa State, Purdue, maybe a Kansas, Nebraska, which I still think Nebraska is going to fall. But then you go back to matchups. But if you have Ament in the picture during the NCAA tournament, obviously your odds change in your favor. But I guess the big question that I look at, John, is how far can they fall and not get significantly hurt? And we're just not going to know. They could get a 6 seed in advance. If you remember years ago, Brian, I know you'll know, they had the play-in year where they barely made the tournament. And at the year they went to the Elite 8, I don't know if that was Konzo's team or not.
I think it was the Sweet 16 and nearly made the Elite 8.
Yeah, that was Konzo's team. But, Mark, you're talking about Tennessee dropping to a 6 seed. Should the selection committee consider the fact that, okay, yeah, they lost to Vanderbilt. Yes, they lost in the SEC tournament first round. But that was without their star player. He's back for the tournament. So is it possible they might not penalize Tennessee for those losses?
No, I don't think they do. I think I wouldn't call it penalize, not penalize. I think it's just and I may be wrong, John. I know in the past, we had the deal. I still go back in history when John Higgins was hurt, and then Tennessee got penalized somehow with him because he didn't play. Now, does that come in? I'm sure it's talked about. I don't know how the committee is going to be this year, but if you're just looking at net ranking, which is one of the huge factors that they use, which is the NCAA evaluation tool, they're going to look at your ranking. And that's why, the hot topic now is the whole Auburn, should they be in or not? Well, their net ranking is so high. That's why they're in or close, not because Daddy Bruce. So that's the deal. But I just think, they're going to drop. If they lose 2 out of 3, they're going to drop seeds. You just really can't afford to go below a 6 in my mind and have a shot. I just really feel that for this team.
What do you think about the Miami of Ohio team that Bruce has just ripped and said, well, they wouldn't even finish 8th in the Big East? Do they deserve to be
I think Miami of Ohio, I think it's great for basketball. And if anything that comes out of this, love or hate Bruce, that's up to you, is more attention's being focused now on Miami of Ohio. They've gotten, I guarantee, a lot more people looking into that program that they have before. And a lot more attention is just what Travis Steele at Miami, Ohio needs for the program to get the word out about them, and people watching and people like me want to follow and cheer for them even more because they are the underdog. If they have one loss, they should be in, period. Now, you can argue their net ranking's not very high. You can argue that the MAC conference hasn't had 2 teams in the NCAA tournament since '98, I believe. Well, throw that out the window. They go in with 1 loss, they should be in, and I guarantee you most of America is going to be cheering for Miami of Ohio over any team they play, period. And I don't want to see Auburn in the tournament. I don't think they deserve it. They're playing horrible right now, and I just don't. When they talk about best 64, they're just not one of the best 64, period.
Mark, you mentioned matchups, and we always talk about that going into the NCAA tournament. What's the team you would, regardless of seeding, the kind of team that would be beneficial to Tennessee? The type team, can you kind of give me just a blueprint there for the type team that would enhance Tennessee's chances of moving forward?
Well, that's a great question. I wish that I had multiple answers for that, John. But as far as a type team, for me, the type team that stands out, and I'm going on risk reward here, and I'll bring up Alabama type team. That may be deeper into the tournament, but a team that relies on threes. I think Tennessee, for the most part, does a really good job of running them off the 3 line, meaning you're able to take them away from their 3-point shot on the perimeter side. I think that's a team that I would like to be up against. A team that scares me, and someone mentioned it during the break, and I've not seen Yale play, but an underdog team that's very disciplined and gets to the free throw line. I think any team that can draw fouls, which means you're going to have to rotate our bigs, have limited opportunity inside, and gets them to the free throw line is a team that scares me.
Do you know anything? You brought up Yale. I don't know anything about Yale.
James Jones is their coach. That's all I know about Yale.
They beat Auburn as a 14th seed 2 years ago.
Yeah, Wolf, that went to Michigan, transferred from Yale to Michigan, and now is apparently an NBA. That's the only thing I know about Yale.
Mark, when you look at the SEC is going to put a bunch of teams in the tournament again. Not like last year. That may never happen again, but still a lot of teams in there. What are some teams that you think from the SEC that have a chance of exceeding their regular season look and maybe making a run in the tournament.
Exceeding? Wow.
Yeah.
I hate this coming out of my mouth, but I'd say Arkansas. Not a Calipari fan. I respect the crap out of him, John and Brian. I mean, he does a great job with getting talent. You know, you can debate how good of an on-floor coach he is, but man, if you've got talent, you become a good coach. I know a lot of programs that had really good coaches because they had great talent. And then you've had some coaches, you're like, well, he's not very good. We didn't have a lot of talent. You had talent around him, like, this coach is really good. But good coaches get good talent. Arkansas, for one, you know, people are really high on Florida, so that's not a surprise team. And I really like this Florida team, man. I mean, they're limited in their bench, but I always said in the past, John, that if Boogie Flan can score a lot of points, this team will advance. But that was just because how well he played against Tennessee when he turned it around. But man, they're firing on all cylinders. They're getting a lot of help from multiple guards now, and their inside presence is unbelievable. Number one rebounding team in the country. But that's not a surprise team. Alabama, I'm not as big on a team that just relies on three-pointers. Even though they're the most athletic team in the SEC, top to bottom, I really feel that way. But when you rely just on primarily on three-pointers, you're leaving a lot on the floor. And if you have a cold night, you're done. You're done. And I just don't, and they don't defend. They're the worst, one of the worst defensive teams in the SEC. So when you don't defend and you're not hitting threes, guess what? You're not getting to the free throw line. Will there be a surprise team in there? There could be, but for me, I'm still just big on Florida, Arkansas, and those are the two teams that I would sit there if I had to bet, and I don't bet, but two teams to advance from the SEC, it would be those two. Now, will we get a surprise? I hope we do. That's the great thing while everyone tunes in on that Thursday and Friday, the opening round, the following Thursday and Friday and into the weekend, is because we don't know. We don't know.
Could Kentucky be a surprise? What about Vandy?
Kentucky, their style of play, I just don't know how you can get five guys to decide to play together one weekend. It just turns on like that. They're so divisive on the floor. To me, what I've witnessed, Brian, that's a harder one to come together. We can use the word chemistry all we want, but can they just play together? Owe, tremendous athlete, really coming around. The guard, is it Chandler?
Colin Chandler, yes.
Yeah, Chandler's shooting the heck out of the ball. Now, if you can find another player from Kentucky to step it up, then sure, they could be in that conversation. I just don't see it happening. And I'm not talking about like Aberdeen. I'm talking about another like surprise player that just maybe hasn't fared so well. Or maybe Marino inside goes off consistently. I don't see it for Kentucky. To me, they're just like a yo-yo team, very up, very down. Vanderbilt I really like because they've got three great guards that shoot the ball well for the most part, and they're great at the free throw line. But the problem with Vanderbilt's depth. You get McLaughlin in foul trouble, you're done. Washington plays a pretty good role inside to transfer from UNC. But if you get McLaughlin in foul trouble, I just hate to rely on Washington alone as their big. And their rebounding is not very good. So I don't know if Vanderbilt could do it. Now, you get into a shooting matchup with Vanderbilt, high tempo. They're not just a three-point shooting team or primarily a three-point shooting team like Alabama. One thing I love about Vanderbilt, they penetrate probably better than any team of what we call getting into the paint, because if they can drive into the paint, then that opens up a lot of options for perimeter shooting and dumping it inside. And I think Byington does a fantastic job with the personnel that he has.
We're going to wrap things up on the other side. We'll take our last break. of the afternoon. Tony Basilio Show, 11 to 1. We'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll be on tonight after the game is over, around 8 o'clock or so, with the Garza Law Firm basketball OT. Let's bring it on back. Mark, we'll talk to you for about 10 more minutes, and we will depart right at 1. So we'll come on back on the other side and wrap this thing up.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved, and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631. And ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring.
Fanrun Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Patterson from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business. Conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Slow drains, gurgling, and bad odors may seem minor, but left unattended, they can turn into a plumbing emergency fast. Don't let a clogged drain become a disaster. Keep things moving smoothly with Pipe Wrench's $99 drain clearing, guaranteed to work, or it's free. Our certified plumbers arrive prepared with the tools and expertise to clear even the most stubborn clogged drains. And with our same-day service guarantee, you get fast relief without the inconvenience of waiting. Have more than just a clogged drain? We also offer free on-site estimates and free second opinions on repairs. Your comfort isn't just our job. It's our promise. Schedule your $99 drain clearing online today at pipewrench.com. If we can't clear it, you don't pay. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. For residential main lines only, requires clean-out access. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a two-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Basilio here reminding you that when you want to sell your extra tickets to the game, you don't want to give your life away online with all your personal information just because you want to sell a few extra tickets. Clark Moore at Select Ticket Service will gladly buy your extra game tickets and your extra parking passes. And the best part, Clarky Boy pays cash. 865-919-1016. 865-919-1016. Clarky Boy pays cash at Select Ticket Service. Clarky Boy pays cash.
Back to the Tony Basilio Show, wrapping it up here with about 7 to play until 1 o'clock. John, Mark, the anticipation for March Madness is building. We're in the last week of the regular season. We've got conference tournaments, small conference, mid-majors beginning tonight. There are some in action. The Horizon League is one of them, and the Patriot League, I think, kicks off the Southern Conference tournament weekend over the weekend. So this is the time we all live for as college basketball fans, and it never ceases to be amazing as far as the anticipation and the build-up comes along.
Mark, when you look forward to that, we talked about matchups. You talked to plenty of coaches. You studied coaches. You played the game. How different is preparation for the NCAA tournament in terms of practice, scouting, in the NCAA tournament than it is for a regular season opponent?
Well, that's a great question, John, and it may surprise some people, but it's a lot different. Coaches, you talk about trying to be consistent throughout the year. You're always worried about continual improvement, fine-tuning, working on minimizing mistakes and